Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Engineering Today, and we're going to start with a great news for SpaceX fans, as the company added another Starlink launch on their list of the very day when 15 years ago SpaceX first launched a rocket, an unsuccessful flight of Falcon 1. On Wednesday, March 24th, SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched another batch of 60 Starlink satellites to the orbit. It was 4:28 a.m. Eastern Time when SpaceX's two-staged Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying 60 Starlink satellites. Liftoff, SpaceX stated. After that, Falcon 9's second stage deployed the satellites into low Earth orbit 64 minutes later. Wednesday's launch marked the fourth Starlink mission of this month and 9 total Falcon 9 launched this year. The live broadcast kicked off 11 minutes prior to the launch. SpaceX's production supervisor, Andy Tran, started the broadcast with a live view of the Falcon 9 rocket. Like any other SpaceX launches, Falcon 9 entered the engine chilling process at 7 minutes prior to the liftoff. With a spectacular view, the vehicle lifted off in a cloudy morning of Florida. Approximately 9 minutes after the launch, Falcon 9 first-stage booster returned to Earth and performed a successful landing on SpaceX's Of Course I Still Love You drone ship. Falcon 9's first-stage booster, called B-1060, marked its sixth flight of this mission. The booster previously launched in the Turksat 5A and GPS satellite mission, as well as 3 other Starlink missions. This is the sixth landing for this booster and the 78th landing overall, Tran said during the broadcast. What a way to start the day. With more than 100 successful flights of Falcon 9 and 78 recoveries of our first stage to date, we've made a lot of progress since then, he stated, referring to the 15th anniversary of SpaceX's first flight. SpaceX has this most incredible timeline for rocket launches, where the company launched more than 100 successful Falcon 9 launches. SpaceX also launched 3 Falcon Heavy launches in 2018-2019, but this launch streak first started in March 24, 2006, when SpaceX attempted its first ever launch with Falcon 1 rocket. The rocket lifted off from Kwajalein Atoll in the Pacific Ocean, but soon its first stage suffered from a single engine failure. After that, SpaceX launched 2 Falcon 1 launches, but that failed also. Finally, in September 2008, a 4th Falcon 1 rocket reached the orbit for the first time with a test payload. After one more mission, Falcon 1 left its job to its successor, Falcon 9, which came in 2010. SpaceX continuously increased the size of its Starlink constellation, which now have more than 1,300 satellites in orbit. According to the information, less than 2% of Starlink constellation have suffered from some kind of issue, and 1% burned up in Earth's atmosphere. Apart from that, SpaceX's Starlink satellites are holding its ground to deliver fast internet connection for the customers. The production rate of SpaceX's Starlink satellites is also notable. Jonathan Hofeller, SpaceX Vice President for Starlink program, stated in a conference, "We are currently building roughly 6 satellites a day at our factory in Seattle, which is pretty remarkable. We're already working on the Gen 2 constellation," he added. "These satellites will be continuously refreshed as we continue to increase both the network capacity and the density by orders of magnitude. We're excited to be able to eventually provide a lot more internet than we're even doing now." From 2008, SpaceX has come a long way improving its launch infrastructure. The company is targeting more number of launches than previous year. SpaceX is developing rockets needed to make life multiplanetary, full and rapid reusability at large scale. Even if SpaceX fails in that goal, the rockets will still be the most advanced on Earth. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk stated on Twitter, "Starlink's purpose is to provide internet to the least served and to pay for Mars." In our next segment, we'll have more information regarding SpaceX's Starship and rocket tests. SpaceX is about to launch its current Starship, which is SN-11. These Starship vehicles are tested in SpaceX's Boca Chica Starship hub. It's known to be the busiest Texas outpost, where SpaceX conducts half a dozen or more rocket tests on busy days. Last week, on Friday, March 19th, SpaceX conducted a number of rapid-fire activity at McGregor, Texas facilities. According to the information, SpaceX has been testing Falcon, Dragon, and Starship parts and supporting each program's development at McGregor. SpaceX properly tests each stages of 9 Merlin 1D engines in McGregor. After that, those engines are shipped to Hawthorne. In Hawthorne, these engines are installed on a Falcon 9 booster, first stage, then shipped back to McGregor for a static fire test. A similar process is done with Falcon 9's second stage. SpaceX also does the same with Raptor engines and cold gas thrusters that's used in the Starship. On March 19th, a number of different engines and vehicles came together at McGregor. There, SpaceX performed at least 5 unique tests in just 6 hours, which includes Merlin Vacuum or Merlin 1D engine, Falcon Heavy Center Core, and 2 Raptor engines. Falcon Heavy Center Core is for the upcoming 2 Falcon Heavy launches, USS F-44 and USS F-52. After completing the static fire, now SpaceX engineers will inspect the booster before shipping it to Florida to complete the first stage of SpaceX's 4th Falcon Heavy rocket. It's scheduled to launch as early as July. According to the information, SpaceX tested a booster and 13 9+4 rocket engines in that period. Moving into the last segment of our news, we'll talk about Rocket Lab launching small sats to orbit. On Monday, March 22nd, California-based Rocket Lab launched its Electron rocket, carrying 6 small satellites for a variety of commercial and government customers. It was a crucial mission for the company in which they demonstrated the performance of its own smallsat bus. The launch took place at Launch Complex 1 at Mahia Peninsula, New Zealand at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. 8.5 minutes after the liftoff, the rocket deployed its kick stage. The kick stage, or Photon in this mission, will now coast for around 50 minutes before the Curie engine ignites to circularize the stage's orbit ahead of its payload deployment, Rocket Lab officials stated on Twitter. A few minutes later, the Electron rocket deployed 5 payloads into a 550-kilometer circular orbit. Rocket Lab founder and CEO Peter Beck stated on Twitter, 5 of the 6 payloads deployed to perfect final orbits. We have 2 burns of the Curie engine to lower apogee and perigee before deploying of the final satellite. As per that, the kick stage of Electron rocket performed 2 more burns of its Curie engine to release the final payload in perfect 450-kilometer orbit. After deploying the 6th payload, he added, "Final payload deployed in a perfect flight. Next, we wake up Photon." Rocket Lab's Electron rocket carried a total of 6 satellites, which includes 2 6U CubeSats built by Tivik Nano Satellite Systems, Gunsmoke J, a 3U CubeSat developed by the U.S. Army Space and Missile Defense Command, a 1U technology demonstration satellite by Care Weather Technologies, and M2, that's a 12U spacecraft from University of New South Wales Canberra Space. Lastly, the biggest payload of this launch, a Gen 2 satellite developed by a satellite imaging company, BlackSky. It was the 7th satellite of that series deployed to the lower orbit. Happy to announce that we successfully contacted BlackSky 7 within an hour of separation from the launch vehicle, BlackSky officials stated on Twitter. Among 6 launches, the Gunsmoke J satellite snatched most of the attention. Tricept arranged this launch. Now, the Gunsmoke J was part of a controversy because some organizations believe that the U.S. military could use this satellite for targeting weapons, specifically nuclear weapons. They asked the government to suspend the licenses for that satellite. However, SMDC described Gunsmoke J as a demonstration of technologies, saying that could assist the ground force commander in long-range precision fires and other activities. In the end, the New Zealand government did not abort the launch. After this launch, the company, Rocket Lab, is expecting more successful satellite launches in the near future. 6 satellites, 2 different orbits, 3 engine burns of the upper stage, and a Photon. Congratulations, team, Peter stated. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your valuable feedback in the comment section. This will help us to improve.